In this section, we'll try and answer your questions about what it's like to go to Download Festival, things we recommend and things to avoid. This week, campsites. So, we have a lot of experience and knowledge about the campsites at Download Festival. As well, you may do. So if you spot anything that we've missed or anything that you think we should have spoken about but didn't, do leave us a voice message. Go to anchor.fm/festpod and click on message and have your say as well. So, campsites, you can't really avoid them unless you're not staying in them, unless you've got, you've paid more and you're staying at a hotel nearby, or you're going for the RIP options. But even then, you're in a campsite. So what would you say where would you head? If you've just bought a ticket for Download and you want to camp in the best place, where would you head to?
Personally, if I was going to be going back to general camping again, I'd be going quiet camp. My partying days of up till 3 a.m. are well and truly over. But for those that do love, they are the party animals, they are the night owls. You want to go to the biggest campsite where there's going to be loads of people there doing exactly the same thing.
So it depends what you want, really, from your campsite. If you want to sleep, you can go to quiet camp. Or if you want to party, you can go to blue camp, let's say.
So that's not necessarily true anymore because whilst the new layout, blue camp, is next to the village, the biggest campsite, which is what traditionally blue was, it was the biggest campsite. I'd almost suggest going to the biggest campsite because then there's going to be thousands of people there doing the same thing that could potentially be up till 3 a.m. doing all the partying. I think the smaller the campsite, the more quieter it will be, and obviously the further away from the villages and stuff like that, it's going to be quieter. Blue camp for 2021 being next to the village, you could be right. That could be the party camp. Traditionally, blue has always been the party camp.
Anything goes, doesn't it, in blue?
Or this was the traditional way, because blue camp was so big that that's where everybody went to, or they know blue camp as the party camp. So for things that are changing in 2021 with blue camp not being the biggest anymore, will that be the big party camp?
Where are the loudest shouts of Alan going to come from next year?
Well, I got to put my money on yellow camp being the biggest and being I think just generally just being the biggest campsite, you're going to get more people when to shout Alan.
This is it. I'm not even sure why people shout Alan. Do you know why?
It's from Stephen Partridge, isn't it? Alan Partridge. Wait, what's his name? Steve Coogan. Sorry,
that's people shouting Dan, isn't it?
Yeah. So obviously in that is.
I think. Do you know what? It's just come to me now. I think there's like a little video. You know these little videos that go around. I think it's like a chipmunk or something, and someone has done a voiceover of it, and as it's doing its little chirp, it's going Alan. And somebody for some reason liked it and started shouting it at Download, and it's just caught on forevermore.
I think it's a big festival thing because wasn't there? I think traditionally at Reading, there's the "Nice one, brother."
Oh, really?
I can't remember what film it's from. It's from a Danny Dyer film, and they started doing it at Download last year. "Nice one, brother." That got tedious on the second day.
Some of the shouts that people do at night time when you're trying to sleep are funny, but some of them are annoying, aren't they?
So it was the Monday morning, and it had gone all night on the Sunday. It was the last day, and we were camped in White Camp, which was on the border of blue, and people that were on the other side of the fence were shouting over, "Fuck you, White Camp!" We were like. And fuck you, blue camp.
Yeah, it was. But that was fun. Actually.
Blue camp got the better of us because obviously there's so many more of them, and you could hear this one woman or a young lady says, "Will you shut the fuck up?" And she's like, "Why don't you go home?"
Have you ever shouted any of these phrases, Dave?
I think no. I'll just say no to that.
Have you got a favourite?
He's a.
What? I can't really think of any, to be honest. I like walking through the like the throngs of people and then just randomly picking up on conversations that other people are sharing.
Oh, you like earwigging?
Yeah.
I see. Well, yeah, it is. I remember being sat around. It must have been last year, 2019, and I think I was visiting your camp, and you overheard people talking about bras or something, and you were very, very interested in listening to what the neighbours were talking about.
I don't remember that.
Oh, I don't remember that either, in fairness.
Yeah.
But bras are an interesting subject. Obviously, we don't have to wear them. Well,
we don't have to wear them.
No one has to wear them.
No, but you were very interested, and I remember that's the thing. You can get to know your neighbours, can't you, in the campsites?
That's one of the best things. If you're camping near people, and you get to know your neighbours, I think it's more like a security blanket. Really, you get to know them.
Yeah.
And you'd like to think they wouldn't shit on their own doorstep. So if something does go wrong, you can always count on them to say, like, did you see anything or something like that. We obviously, I think it was 2017. We met this group of girls, didn't we? And obviously they came to our campsite, and we were just we all chilled and had beers at our camp. It's that sort of comfortable feeling at Download, where you can just literally bump into anybody, or you start talking to your neighbours, and everyone then sort of having a drink with each other.
Yeah, and it made it a lot more fun than just us.
We are fun people, but yes, having other people there did make it a little bit more fun.
Yeah, it was exciting because you didn't know what was going to happen next. I think it was the consumption of alcohol and the giddiness. It all added up to a fun time, which we all enjoyed.
I did. Do you know what I do think? That 2017 probably one of the best memories, because we had obviously the extra people with us. That, like you say, you didn't know what was going to happen, whether it be wrestling in the muds, or people falling into gazebos and making asses of themselves, or
it was a good year.
It was. You know what? It was a good year.
So people like to plant flags on their camps, don't they? So they can easily find it when they're pissed, or it's nighttime and it's dark. And people like to decorate their camps with inflatable animals. So you can make it nice, can't you? You can make it quite cozy, actually. We
had a shark last year, didn't we?
That was mine.
What did you call the shark?
I think it was Bruce or something like that.
Bruce the shark.
Bruce.
Yeah.
But like Finding Nemo.
It took too long to deflate on the Monday morning, so I had to leave him there.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I know. This is the thing. And the campsites, at the end of the weekend, you're encouraged to take all your shit with you. Take your tent down, take your rubbish, take your chairs, take your beds, take everything with you, because if you don't, and half the other people who are there don't, it's a lot of shit to clear away for the people who work there. And actually, it's going in the bin.
Yeah, so they've actually got another separate campsite called Eco Camp, where you have to take everything with you. The whole purpose of it is it's more of an environmentally friendly sort of patch of land where you pitch in your tent. You have to take everything with you. You have to be responsible to recycle all your cans, any sort of card or whatever, and take every little bit of rubbish with you, which I think should just be across the board anyway. I know some people, by the time you get to Monday, some people can be a bit like, oh, I can't be asked. But it's just that taking that extra responsibility over your own stuff that we all really should be doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to admit to leaving broken tents behind. But I mean, Donington seems to break my tents. For some reason, Donington eats tents. But I always made the effort to put it into a bin, but I have to say that there weren't enough bins. at Download for things like that. Because if you've got broken, muddy tents, you don't want to take that home with you. So if you haven't really got the option of taking it home with you because it's broken and muddy, you want to bin it. And if there aren't enough bins around, or if the bins are overflowing, then I'm not surprised that people it's wrong, that people leave it behind, but I'm not surprised that people do.
They have got good, like recycling, like every year they update it or improve it. And I remember, I think it was either last year or the year before, they had these massive boxes, do
you mean the different coloured recycling bins?
Yeah, and you could
you
could toss in like whatever plastics or bottles or whatever. Well, not bottles.
So that's the problem. That's the problem with tents and gazebos. It's because there's so much material in them. People could get confused of obviously what they're supposed to recycle or where you're supposed to bin it. The thing I have against gazebos, whilst they are brilliant if it's pissing with rain, you got a little bit of shelter. The plastic outer sheet is non-recyclable. Putting it straight into a bin's fine, but it will still end up on landfill. The metal pipes, metal obviously, and again plastic. Plastic doesn't recycle. So, I mean, I agree with you, Neil. I get why people don't, whilst they should. But I think, Download have over the last, like Dave said, Download have over the last few years have made the effort to make sure the carbon footprint and all the punters are recycling better.
Yeah. I mean, when you're talking about scores of thousands of people, I mean, how many people do you reckon actually camp at Download? It's got to be 50,000 easy, do you think?
With the capacity for the arena itself is about 100. So yeah, I'd imagine half of that is in the camp.
So when you've got that many people, it could easily be more. It could easily be more than that. So they've got to cater for the rubbish and tents of 50,000 people, and I can understand why they struggle. Absolutely, it's a hard one to tackle, but it's something to think about before you go. What are you going to do with anything that you buy? Are you going to take it with you? Because remember, once you've bought stuff or brought stuff to the campsite, you're going to have to take it back to your car, and that is potentially a bit of a walk. And can you be bothered? If not, I would say don't bring it, because you don't want to. Because people get really, on these Facebook groups, the Download Facebook groups, people get really angry about this, don't they? They get really animated and passionate, and I can understand it completely.
I think that's the best piece of advice you can give to someone that's never camped there before. Only take what is consumable and you are willing to take home.
And the campsites are, because they've got to cater for so many people, the campsites are huge. So you have to be prepared for a bit of a walk. So next year, 2021, the campsites are going to be nearer to the car parks, aren't they? But even so, it's still going to be a walk, and it's not going to be a nice walk necessarily.
No, I mean, when they like to advertise it as like it's only a 15-minute walk from the furthest point of the car park to the campsites. And whilst on paper it sounds fantastic, 15 minutes, that's not a problem at all.
That's nothing. No.
You got to remember. Yeah, you've got to then remember all the stuff you've got on your back or in your trolley that you're going to have to, for 15 minutes or for that distance, you've then got to take it, which could take you a lot longer.
Yeah. This is it. It's 15 minutes walking without any crap. But when you're carrying heavy stuff that you've got, your heavy camping stuff that you've got to use for 5 days or whatever, it can certainly weigh you down, and it can certainly make you, regret bringing so much. I will always regret bringing so much. But to be honest, I think I'm bringing less every year because I don't want to camp with nothing. I don't just want a tent and that's it. I want a chair. I want a bed. I want covers. I want my clothes. And it all adds up. And there's stuff that you can't really say, oh, well, I'm not going to bring that this year. Because you've got to bring it to have a good time. So you end up bringing it with you, and it's all heavy. So you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't, really. So it's best to be sensible as much as possible.
Ask questions to, again, like ask us questions, obviously, like we've advertised already. Ask people on the Facebook forums, ask people on the download forum themselves how to pack lighter. I mean, sleeping bags, you need a sleeping bag as we get comfortable. If you're not too bothered about your back, which I know, we're all in our 30s now, so your back is getting a little bit weaker. You need something more comfortable to sleep on.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but if you're 20 years old, it doesn't matter so much. You can turn up with a backpack, and I know people do because I've seen it with my own eyes, with just a tent and some clothes, and just lay on the floor. But I would really, if you're bothered about comfort or warmth, don't do that because it's freezing cold.
Oh, big time. I mean, the last time I went camping with my fiance, this was, I think, beginning of September. It was very warm during the day, but even then, we had 2 blankets each. We were in full fleece-lined pajamas. We were covering our faces to make sure we were warm under the blankets as well. I'd have put my bobble hat on if I'd had it. It does get incredibly cold.
Dave, you always seem to pack light, if I recall correctly. You always seem to come with very little. How do you manage that?
I end up realising I haven't packed enough. Basically. But yeah, it's definitely something you should research beforehand. Like, make a list of things you think you need, or obviously make a list of the essentials like your tickets and your tent and stuff. But then try and cut down on as much as you can, really. Like, I always pack too many t-shirts because I end up buying like 2 or 3 when I'm there, and then I wear them. So it's definitely a good idea to plan beforehand.
People always end up taking those little trolley things, a little box with wheels to put things into, but unless you get a good one, it's going to get stuck in the mud. So
that made my life a hell of a lot easier last year, bringing a trolley with wheels. But like you say, try and find one that is really sturdy, because some people, I think the one that I've got, I have seen it. I have seen the same sort of one in a ditch with only 2 wheels. But I mean, if you take care of it whilst you're taking it to your campsite, it can be your best mate when going from your car to the camp.
Oh yeah, it's always an adventure for absolutely everybody, getting from the car park to the campsites with all your stuff, and doing it with any dignity whatsoever, because you'll see people sat on the road, just having a rest, because it's quite hilly actually, Donington. You don't remember necessarily that you're going to have to climb some quite steep hills, even if it's only for a few minutes. But when you've got some heavy shit with you, you notice it. So yeah, be ready for that.
So last year when it rained heavily and they stuck us into a different car park last year, do you not remember when so from the car park you go downhill, then you're on a flat to get towards the cube, and you've got to go up that really steep incline to get to the tarmac lake.
Yeah.
And even by the Wednesday afternoon, after it rained all day, or drizzling all day, and you got people walking through it, that hill was just mud, and getting up and down it with your stuff, slipping.
Yeah. It was a muddy hill, basically, wasn't it? Yeah.
Very muddy hill.
But if you're on your own and you're planning on camping, there is a camp loaner, isn't there?
Yeah, so that's organised by a chap called Ben. I've met him a couple of times. He's a very friendly guy. And basically, yeah, it's as it sounds, camp loaner. If you go on your own, make sure because it's first come, first serve. You don't have to sign up to anything. It's literally first come, first serve. And if you go in there, you camp and you're on your own, pitch a tent, and eventually you won't be camp loaner anymore. You will meet other people that have gone on their own, and you have a whole new set of friends by the end of the festival.
definitely worth considering. So don't forget, you can ask us questions or give us your viewpoint by sending us a voice message. Go to anchor.fm/festpod and click on message. Tell us your do's and don'ts, tell us about something we've missed, or just give us your opinion. That's at anchor.fm/festpod and just click on message.